This is the Investor Qnect podcast program. I'm Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of this show in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, family offices, private equity, and many other investors for early stage and growth companies. I hope you enjoy this episode. Well, hello, this is Hall Martin with Investor Qnect. Today I'm here with Jef Sharp, CEO of Qnect. Jef, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Hall. Thanks for having me back.
Great. Yeah, we talked previously about Qnect and looking forward to catching up. So what's happened since then?
Oh man, we have had a really good run in the last year. Qnect has had a lot of sales, high profile sales, a lot of interest from some of the top leaders in the construction space. To give you an example, we landed a project in Boston called Boston South Station. If any of your listeners are familiar with Boston at all, they've been through Boston South Station where they're building a tower on top of the back of the station. About a 15,000 ton job. Another one in Boston that's about 14,000 tons, four skyscrapers in New York, 3 airports. Just things have been going really well, Hall.
Well, that's great. That's great. So what led you to start work in the construction space, and in particular with steel? What attracted you to that?
Well, construction is the largest industry, and so that's certainly pulls an entrepreneur in. And then it's very tangible. I've done a number of businesses before, and .com kind of technology businesses. One was a exchange for excess manufacturing capacity, a little ahead of its time, but Uber and things like Airbnb or XSCapacity really. But it was a little early, and the timing for this is perfect. People are much more interested in construction technology now. McKinsey came out with a report saying how much efficiency that can be gained in the construction industry. It's a $10 trillion industry. And so if there's efficiencies that can be squeezed out of that, there's a lot of money to be made for people. And I like building stuff. I like the fact that you're solving one of the great needs of society, food, clothing, and shelter. We're helping in the shelter space.
Great. And how has the team grown since we talked last time?
Our team is pretty stable, which is a great thing. We can accomplish everything that we've done with pretty much the same number of people. I think we added 1 salesperson. So we have 3.5 salespeople now. And it's amazing what 20 people can do. I think it's a really optimum size for a team in a startup. You start getting much bigger than that, and you lose some efficiencies. So we've been working very productively with our team and really cranking out a lot of new features, making the software better and better.
Great. And so how many customers do you have now?
Over 100 customers, and certainly a lot more in the pipeline. We did a map recently that showed, all the states that we've done jobs in. And I was quite pleased to see that most of the country was colored because we had done at least one project in that state. So yeah, we've made a lot of progress, not only sales, but also sort of geographically going across the country.
You have a unique technology. Can you describe what the core technology is and how it works?
Yeah, sure. So Qnect is an intelligent cloud computing software as a service. And what it does is it delivers really smart, optimized steel connections to steel projects, and also, sort of a full solution. So our customer might be a general contractor, a steel fabricator, might be an engineer, and we deliver either in the bidding stage, the data that they need to make smarter bids, or in production, where we will engineer the connections. Basically, to give you a picture, if you take 2 pieces of steel and they come together in a frame of a building, those 2 pieces of steel need to be engineered. The connection does. And so the number of bolts, the size of the plate, the amount of weld that's required, et cetera. And conventionally, it's done in a very slow process. It might take 6 weeks. It might take 8 weeks for the conventional process, and our software can do it in about an hour. So it brings a lot of speed and efficiency. And because of that speed, now we can do it multiple times. And so instead of just connecting the building once and, hoping and praying that, you chose the right bolt size, we can connect it 10 times or more. And the bolt sizes vary, and we vary the distance between the bolts. We can use so much compute power from AWS, Amazon servers to be able to deliver an enormous amount of data that the industry has simply never had before. And it allows for smarter decisions and much better projects.
Great. Well, it's great to see you bringing innovation to the construction space. What surprised you most about this sector that you didn't know before?
That's a great question. One thing that surprised me a lot is that there's a lot of inefficiency. This is one of the largest industry in the world, construction. And it just is amazing how much inefficiency there is. And so therefore, how much opportunity there is for a software like ours. And the reason is that it's very splintered and regional, but everyone uses the same building code, and everyone has to pretty much connect two pieces of steel when they're building a steel building. And there are some variances around the country. And so we built the software to be super flexible, to be accessible to anyone. But it's just hard what we do. And no one has ever taken the time to really get the right people in a room to figure this out. The number of engineers required, the years of software development, writing code to do it right is a lot. And that's actually a good thing for us, because it's a high barrier of entry to anybody who might want to compete with us. And to this day, we don't see any real competition. And we do also have a patent that has been issued to us that protects us in case some competition does come around later.
Great. And so what's your advice for people investing in the construction space? What do you tell them to do before they write that check?
Well, there's a number of things they should do. One is they should call people that they know in the construction world. And, everybody knows somebody who is a developer or a general contractor or engineer, and just talk to them, and say, how does it work today? And do you think that there's room for efficiency there? And would you mind taking a look at this technology for me, and sharing with them a little bit about what you're considering and getting their input? And then, there's the usual stuff. Is it a great team? Is it a good product market fit? And that sort of thing.
Well, great. And so what's the next step for you guys? Where do you go from here?
Well, we have a lot more revenue coming in now, which is great. This really excites me about the company at its current stage. There's solid cash flow, even in a sort of uncertain year. We've got a lot of repeat customers. We've got new product features that are coming out. We're about to release a really big release this month. And so we're going to continue making the software better and better. And then, of course, reaching out and trying to get more and more market penetration. And that's sort of my main goal right now, is to talk to as many customers as I can and get the sales team being diligent about reaching out to people with a good pace and cadence, so that we're in the right place at the right time, because the technology should be used on every steel project in the world. We still have a lot of development to do to make it available for Europe and some other countries in the world. And so there's plenty of work for the team to do. And then the goal and the challenge is just to get as much sales as possible, as fast as possible. And that's what we're working on.
Well, it sounds like you're making good progress with it and getting good traction. In the last few minutes that we have here, what else should we cover that we haven't?
Well, I'd like to inform your listeners that we have a financing that's closing soon. If you like what you've heard and you think you might want to join the Qnect team, then please contact me. It's a really great opportunity right now. With the revenue coming in and the high profile jobs that we're getting. We just won 70-story tower in New York City. It's about the third largest project that we've had to date. I'm very excited about that. We've got a pretty solid pipeline of projects coming, so excellent time to invest. We're raising $2 million. We've got about $500,000 to go. We'd love to hear from anyone in your network who shares a passion for innovation, engineering efficiency, and basically accelerating a great technology, and working with me and the rest of the team so that the whole planet can benefit from yet another great new technology.
Great. So how best for listeners to get back in touch with you?
Well, they can email me at jsharp@qnect.com. LinkedIn is always a good way to get in touch with me, and my mobile phone would be great too, 413-896-1367. I'd be happy to hear from any one of your listeners. And I just want to close by saying thanks, all, for supporting the entrepreneur community. What you guys do is really great.
Well, I appreciate that. And I want to thank you for joining us today and giving us the update. And looking forward to hearing next steps from you soon. And we'll put those contact details in the show notes so listeners get back in touch with you. And looking forward to next time.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Saul.
Investor Qnect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorqnect.org. Halti Martin is the director of Investor Qnect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Investor Qnect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for the basis of investment decisions.